Hey, Romaine.
Hey.
Reunited on the Support
And
Squad
it feels
podcast.
so good.
I was just laughing because you popped up on the screen and I was like, I don't know if I've talked to you face to face in a very long time.
It's been a minute. It's
But
been a minute. We've talked on the phone, like we were saying, but not had
not
some like quality.
probably even since, or no, we've had one call since then, I think, but
Yeah.
you were one of my first guests on the Support Squad
I
podcast
know, as you
out
like to say,
years
when we were
ago.
baby,
I
when we were
know.
baby coaches.
Little BPBA coaches. And I've been seeing all the stuff you've been doing. And I was just like, Romaine has to get on the podcast because I know what a genius you are. I know so much of my audience already follows you and loves you. And you have such exciting stuff going on. And I know you have some great tips to go along with everything. So
Yes.
today we're going to be talking about productivity and client management, which are some of my favorite things. And before we dive into like the strategies and the tips and all of that, I'd love for you to tell us just a little bit about these new kind of products that you've created to help VAs with this stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. So here's the thing with me. Everything that I create starts because it's a personal challenge of mine. And I'm just like, I need to fix this. I need to solve this. So every single thing that I created. So I have created a couple products with more to come, but I'm only starting with these 4. So the first thing is this virtual assistant daily to-do journal, which you also see over here. Product placement. Which you also see over here. And this came from, as some of you guys know, I had an agency, right? I had a virtual assistant agency. And at one point we had 20 retainer clients and 4 event-based clients.
Wow.
So each virtual assistant, I had 5 team members, everybody carried a caseload of 4. So I was just like, everybody, with so many things going on and some people were overlapping, sometimes it felt like, I have so much to do. And I started to feel this frantic energy, not just for me, but also for my team. And so I was just like, I'm just going to sit down and create something, because I was just like, for me, it's natural to be like, okay, when I'm feeling frantic, I'm like, what's most urgent for today?
Right.
But everybody doesn't operate that day. So I created these sheets, and they still exist as freebies, where basically, I don't even know if you can see it, but it has the client name and then the top 7 things that you would do for that client every day. It's a super simple tool, but everyone who's purchased it so far has been like, I really purchased this just to support you, but this is like changing my life. It's a simple thing that allows you to just relax into the day, start your day off properly, without the frantic, like, okay, these are the top 7 things that I accomplished today. And if I get it done today, amazing. If not, at least I haven't forgotten it and I can move it over. Because in your project management system, you can get overwhelmed. The other thing is, anybody who knows me knows your girl likes to travel. And so I created a travel journal. And not only do I like to travel, but I like when I come back to be able to write down like what I did and all that good stuff. And I have an Adventure Family Florida Instagram as well, where we map everything out. But what always happens is, you remember that trip where we did that thing and we went to that place and we met that guy and it like totally made that trip. And then like within a couple of weeks of the trip, you forget that person's name, where that restaurant was, all of that. So the travel journal not only has where you can build out your itinerary on one side, but you can reflect on the trip on the other side and write down all those things or anything that you would change. Like you're like, next time I don't need all these clothes, right? All that good stuff. Right. And in the front, you can write down your bucket list of all the places that you want to go and check them off as you go.
That is so cute. I love that. I love reflecting on trips, and like having that stuff written down makes such a difference, because you do forget.
Because you forget. You're just like, what was his name? And then as complimentary, and these are kind of like the way I describe these are like, you only need this discovery call notebook, you'll only need one time in your life. Like realistically, you're not going to have 200 discovery
Oh
calls.
my gosh, I would hope not.
Right. Unless you're in like an industry, like you're a photographer or something where you
Right,
have
right,
a lot
right.
of calls. But this is kind of like a one-time purchase. And I recognize that because I made it 200 pages deep on purpose. But it allows you to stay focused, right? Your due
Mhm.
diligence pre-call stuff goes here. Your discovery call notes go here. And then under here, you can write, how much you pitch them, what budget they fall under, if it closed or not, so that you can track your progress.
That's awesome. And to
And
have it
then,
all in one place like that, because I know I have like notebooks where it's just like all, I have like Google Docs, like notes on my like computer, like it's all over the place. So to have it all in one
and
place
that
is so
is
good.
the reality of who I am as a person. I am a
Right.
journal junkie. And so, I was always trying to like, let's just be real. Let's just tilt this up a little bit. Those are all the journals that these journals are replacing. So
Right.
like I used to have one for discovery calls and whatever, and then
Uh-huh.
I would not be able to find that one. So I would start another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this one now is for meeting notes.
Mm-hmm.
And these are simple journals, y'all. This is not like, but the beauty of having it all together where you take your meeting notes, take your action items, a little space for doodling, you set your intention for the call up top, and this just makes a big difference. And this one you may need like once a year, right? So you
Right.
can keep all your client meeting notes together. And so those all go together. And then last but not least, my mom and I just created this one, which is the medical notes tracking journal for anyone who has to keep a track of daily vitals, right? I didn't know until my mom brought it to my attention that a lot of times when you go to the doctor, they give you a little slip of paper and they're like, track all your vitals for the month and then bring it back. Like, who's going to remember that piece of paper? Who?
Right.
Who?
Oh my gosh.
So
As soon
she,
as like a doctor gives me a piece of paper, it's like in the bottom of my purse or
I
like
don't
on the
even
floor of
know.
my car
I
or
went
like,
to the doctor 2 days ago and I'm just like, I know she gave me a card to call
right.
somebody, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to call them back because I don't know
Right.
where that card. But on the plus side, I did go and get my well woman's visit. So
Oh, good. Self-care, health.
self-care,
Love it.
that's a big part of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are the products that I've come out with. And like I said, they all solve problems that I was experiencing, my team was experiencing. And I was just like, obviously we're not so unique that doesn't mean that other people in the world need it. So I turned them into books.
Well, I have loved seeing them. And what I love is that, like you said, they are simple, but it's about like when you have something all in one place and also like knowing like the intention of it, like then you
Yes.
can put your own like spin on it. And I'm just so excited. And
I
I
know
love,
one of the
yeah, go ahead.
no, what I was gonna say is one of the things that I love is seeing everybody decorating them.
Oh, yeah, how cute.
I
Getting the
love seeing people's
stickers.
layouts.
Yeah, I love that. How fun. So you've created all of these tools for us and shown it to us now. And I'd love to like take a step back now and get into like how to do all of this stuff as a VA. So
Yeah.
when you were as a VA and working with your agency, what were some of the biggest struggles that you had when it came to client management?
So the first part was, I told you guys already that the first year I just made all the rookie mistakes, girl,
Oh yeah,
like all the mistakes.
same. Yeah.
And one of them was I took on so many different types of clients.
Mhm.
And so the biggest struggle point for me was I was going from my brain had to jump through different modalities all the time. Like I was like in business development mode, and then I was in nurturing community mode with coaches, and then I was in you know creating invoices and creating things on Canva and doing social media management. So it's like I was wearing so many hats. And so that was a big struggle point for me and I know a lot of virtual assistants, we all can tend to start off that way until you figure out where you're really happy. You
Mm.
work with a multiple different clients. So the biggest struggle for me there was my days were longer because I had to be jumping from track to track. And my brain literally needed time to like chugga, like get on track with what I was doing. And
Yeah.
then by the time I'm like in a groove over here, I had to jump and do something else for another client. So that was a big struggle.
Yeah, totally. And then when it came to like dealing with all of that, and we all make those rookie mistakes. I definitely did that. You know what they say? It's like when you're trying to multitask. It actually
Yes.
makes you, it just turns your brain into mush. And it's the same when you're trying to work with like so many different clients and doing so many different things. It's hard to be productive.
Yeah,
So
task switching is what there it is. It's not called multitasking. The only thing that like literally can multitask is your physical body.
right.
Like your physical body is meant to multitask. Like your heart is going
Right.
while, you know, teaching, your brain is telling your hands to make awkward hand gestures while you're on Zoom
Right.
calls. But what your brain does not like task switching. And that's why it's like half the time, half the way through the day, you'll be like, what was I doing? What was I talking about? And it's because your brain is just like, I need a break. You're trying to do the most, all that good stuff. So the biggest thing for me that helped with that, the first part was batching. I learned about batching before I learned about time blocking.
Yeah.
Batching was what helped me at first, because I was just like, okay, I have 3 clients that are doing social media. Let me knock out all the social media stuff on a Monday, right? That was the first thing. But then when I learned about time blocking, changed the game for me.
Yeah, totally. Time blocking is like, I don't even know what I would do if I didn't do you do Pomodoro method with the timer and all of that? Or do you just,
No. I learned
block?
about that after, but
Oh, okay.
literally I'm a very literal person, as you can tell, but literal.
Yeah.
So I put everything on my calendar. I
Right.
time blocked on my calendar, and I put the alarms in the calendar reminder. So it'll be like, oh, you're going into this person's time block in 10 minutes, right? So it would like mentally, I'd be like, okay, now I need to wrap up what I'm doing because I'm going to ramp up over here. So that was very helpful. So literally putting them on my Google Calendar, assigning a client, each client got their time blocks. And, you know, we promised all our clients 2 touch points a day. So they would get a touch point in the morning and a touch point in the afternoon. And that's how we broke things up. And it also allowed us to keep a track of their time. So if we found ourselves consistently rolling over, that means that they're, you know, the package that they're on is not the right package for them. And so we were able to make adjustments accordingly.
That is so smart. You're so right. Yeah, it allows you to see like, okay, are we starting to creep outside the scope of this project and like having to reevaluate? That's so smart. Yeah.
It definitely killed 2 birds with 1 stone, because that whole timer thing and tracking time and keeping time that way, I'll tell you one thing. I'll turn that harvest timer on, and then 2 days later, I'm like, I did not turn that off.
I know. I used Toggle when I was working with clients, and I'd log in like the next day and it'd be like, oh, I logged 27 hours yesterday for that client. Great.
I forgot.
And because what I was doing is I was like switching back and forth between so many different things. So you're so right. Yeah. Batching, time blocking, it makes such a difference.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to pause for a second. I'm going to edit this part out, but it says your question was, what was the biggest tipping point for you to figure out a formula? Is that what you just talked about?
No, you could ask me that.
Okay. I can ask you that. Okay, cool. Okay. Sorry. I forgot to look at my notes.
All good.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I get all your like talking points in. Okay, cool. So yeah, when we're going through all of these different things, working with all of these clients, I think for a lot of us, we reach a point where it's like, okay, I need to like dial this in. I need to figure out how to make this all work. So for you, was there like a tipping point or something that happened that made you decide to create a formula or a solution?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was when I transitioned to, so what was a little bit different about my agency is that everyone worked, I actually had a physical office, and my team would come to the office and work with me. Like we had 2 office spaces. We had one we were in a virtual office space. I was in the one by the window, and then we had another set of the team. And so we would be going back and forth. We were together, all 5 of us. And here's the thing about being a leader in bad habits. When you are leading your team and they've never been in your industry before, because most of the people that I hired were not VAs, they were administrators who had worked in different environments. So they're coming into this virtual environment and they've never done it this way before. So they are looking to me to be the example of how it's done. So here's a fun fact about, if you are a business owner and you are frantic, guess how your team is going to feel?
Right.
Frantic. And if you're disorganized, your team's going to feel disorganized. And if you are task switching, they're going to be like, oh, that's how it's done. So they just keep task switching. And so everything started to crumble under the weight. Like we were gaining clients, you know, we were onboarding a client a month. Like we ramped up really quickly. And we didn't have enough systems and processes in place. Everything was in my brain. And so that was a tipping point, is sitting there knowing that I wanted to create an environment where women felt comfortable to leave at 5 o'clock or leave at 4 if their day was done, to go pick up their child, and seeing my team stressed out because they didn't feel comfortable to leave yet because the day wasn't done, because they had been working in frantic energy the whole day. And so I was just like, okay, we have to do a reset. And so that's where the actual sheets for the daily to do came from. Because I was just like, okay, what are we doing crazy? First of all, the clients don't know when we're online. So we implemented Slack and we started doing notifications in the morning, like, hey, we're online, we're working, we're going through the things. If you need anything, please let us know. That paused them from asking us questions all day.
Right.
Or saying, hey, did you see this? Or hey, whatever, because we said we're online, going through the emails. Please let us know if anything's time sensitive. Otherwise, we'll be in touch if we need during your time blocks. That little change made such a difference in our client relationship, because now they weren't, hey, are you online? Did you see the email? Did you just that one little morning message. And if we ever miss that message, they'll be like, are you guys okay? Is everything all right?
Right.
Is your Wi-Fi up?
Right.
One time we got locked out of the office, and that was funny. We're like,
oh
so
my
we're not
gosh.
in the office. We are locked out.
We're locked out of the office. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's such a good tip, because this has just been coming up with like so many of like my coaching clients and like the people in my membership and stuff. Is just these communication issues with clients, and clients expecting them to be available all of the time, or just like crossed wires and things like that. And just having those touch points is so important and so helpful, because it takes all of the pressure off, I think. And it allows, it's like compartmentalizing things a little bit. It's like, we're here now, let's take care of this now. And then they know it's covered. So I know
what's the beautiful thing about what you just said is that what it does is the same thing I tell people to do in their onboarding. Try to answer as many questions ahead of time, so that you don't have, the client doesn't keep coming back. So like, that's the point of your having a really good welcome package that says, here are the days we're closed, here's our office hours, here's our emergency procedures, here's everything that you need to know. So they're like, oh, okay, she answered those questions that people tend to itch. It's the same concept with literally just doing a quick check-in with your clients in the morning. Good morning, I'm online. Or, just a reminder, we're leaving today at 3. It's where you're not reporting to them in a way where you feel like an employee, but you're just letting them know, like, hey, if you need something, you need to let me know before 3 because I'm leaving at 3, right? And that little implementing Slack and implementing those touch points in the morning made such a big difference in everybody's life. And it also gave clients the freedom to drop things into the Slack, even when they're like, I know you're not going to see it right now, but just so you know, during your next time block, can you take care of this for me? Right. And so just having that level of communication, it made you feel connected to the client, but not tethered.
Right. Exactly.
So it's just like, you're connected, but they're not expecting you to be super reactive. You set the parameters, like, it's there, I'll get to it in your time block, see you later.
Yes. Oh, you don't even understand. This is so important for all of my listeners to hear, because it's such a challenging thing to manage. And then what I love about your journal and how you have the client, the sections where you can have the client and then the 7 things for the day. One thing I always tell VAs, they're like, how do I manage all these clients? And someone's coming with me with this and this and this. And like you say, if you time block and you have that list of the things that need to be accomplished today, and you time block when it's going to happen, all of that like stress, anxiety, franticness can go away, because you've allotted that time. And if you've then communicated the way you just explained, like touching in with your clients and setting those expectations, that takes away all of that feeling like we have to, like you said, be reactive to things.
And I think that one of the biggest gifts that I gave myself was the first 45 to 30 to 45 minutes of the day belonged to me, so I can get my peace. So I would get into the office when we physically had the office, and I even do this now where I'm less like, okay, if I want to be available to people starting at 10, my day would start at 9:15. I would sit down, I make my to-do list, I go over everything, I check my Asana, I check all the emails, and as I'm checking the emails, I'm writing notes on the sheet. And before we used to have them on clipboards, all of us, we would print them out and we would all have our clipboards. And I'm just like, why did it take me so long to put this into a book? Because we were always like, where's that paper from last 2 weeks ago? But yeah, so literally it would be something that just gave you peace of mind, and you felt like you had your day, you had your day set. You're just like, okay, here's a plan. So that if something weird did happen, you're just like, okay, what can be moved to tomorrow?
Right. Exactly.
And it's easy to just be like, okay, this can go to tomorrow. And also communicating things with clients, like when they come up with those emergency things, it's not about being resistant to it and saying no. It's about communication. It's about saying, okay, I can get this done for you today, but this is going to move this to tomorrow or next week. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, this is urgent. Okay, perfect. You can make a note, like, moving this to tomorrow because we're putting this in front. But I think so much of the challenges that we experience as service provider boils down to communication.
You're 100% right. The more that this has been coming up again and again recently for me with, like I was saying, the folks in my community, it comes down to just like setting expectations and being clear. And what you said about starting your day and having that first 30, 45 minutes be for yourself. That's something that I always advise people to, because when you come into your day in that reactive mode, it just sets off a chain of you being in that space all day of like, oh, an email from a client. Oh, you're never grounded in. And
exactly.
And to step into your day, I think it's so important to not dive into client work the second you sit at your desk.
Oh, no. That was the biggest thing that was a change for my mental health.
Yes. Right? Oh, no, totally. Yeah.
So the other thing that we used to do is at the end of the day, you talk about productivity and you think about it's like getting as much done in every day, whatever. So, but one thing that you can do for yourself is at the end of the day, I would be like, what's one more thing that I can do that my future self was going to thank me for? So at the end of the day, I would look at everything, got done, checked it off. I would also make a 30-minute block to clean up my Asana, update the notes so that clients can get their notification so they can not ask me. Like, as much as you can stop bothering me as much as possible, that would be great for me. So in order to do that, you have to give them the notes. You have to kind of give them, let them know what the status of things are, because they're not with you. So they'll be like, oh, I wonder if this got done. And then you're getting random slacks at night, which then you feel like you have to respond to, which is another productivity tick. Use those Slack parameters. My Slack will not ping before 10 o'clock and will not ping after 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of those things. But that one last thing really made a difference in my day-to-day, because I'm just like, okay, can I schedule an email to go out first thing in the morning so I don't have to worry about doing it first thing in the morning, right? Something that takes you less than 10 minutes, and your future self is all like, girl, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate old you.
Yes. And then all of these things that you're talking about too, when we're talking about communication with our clients, when we're talking about productivity and having these ways of like, easing our minds, clearing the space in our mind, what that does is allow us to do what is always our goal when we start our businesses, which is to be able to let go of things and live your life when the day is done. Because like you said, you wanted people in your agency to be free to leave at the end of the day. And as business owners, our day could go forever. We could never be done. The list of tasks is endless. But if we can manage it all, block times, block time, and then like clearly communicate with our clients, that's when you start to like create that freedom, which is always the goal, I think.
And I'm not gonna be out here lying to people and saying that it like comes completely. For me, it comes 80% naturally, but that 20%, that lazy part of me, sometimes it's just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, I'm just gonna jump into my day or whatever.
Right.
But when you feel the difference between a day that you've given yourself the grace of that 20-30 minutes to plan for versus a day that you dive in, you just know that you're choosing to roll down the hill and collect mud as you're going, until you turn a pebble into a boulder.
Right.
You know? So it does take discipline. It does take, you know, recognizing that if I don't do this, then this is going to happen. Like if I do not take this 30 minutes, I am choosing to have a frantic day.
Yeah.
Just getting into the rhythm. And so that took us all a while to get into the rhythm. But once we got it, the clients felt the difference and they told us.
Right.
They're like, I don't know what's going on over there, but you guys are all like, you guys are on a roll. Like,
yeah.
And it went from very reactive to very proactive, very like, it felt good. And so whenever something new came up or something new came into, because we would do events, and if you've ever done events, new things pop up all the time.
Yeah, I haven't
Vendors
done a
go
lot.
MIA.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just kind of
gosh.
like when you're doing day-to-day work and you have an emergency because of an event, when your day is pre-planned and organized, it makes those kind of things more manageable. And you can be like, okay, here's where I need to make the adjustment versus that energy is gone.
Yeah, and you're right. It does take time and it takes tools and finding out what works for you. So that's why I'm so glad you've created all of these physical products, which we never get as VAs. I saw your Instagram story about that, about how we don't see a lot of like physical products out there that are created for virtual assistants. So,
and listen, nothing grinds my gears more when I
right.
hear this, because you know, when you sit down with the digital marketers and they're like, oh, it's not that they're trying to be rude or mean or anything or whatever, but I just get so upset when they tell me there's no market for this, meaning that there's no numbers to support the market.
Right.
And so when I tell you guys, I am battling an uphill battle where I'm just like, awareness. And so that's why I tell people, even if you don't buy the products, share them, all this stuff, because it's really just about creating this space for us. Because if you don't have the space for us, and then they think that we don't need these products, and then the next person who has a great, amazing idea won't create it because when they go to market it, they don't have a category to put themselves in. So we're building these categories from scratch. So that's another thing I tell people, stop sitting on. And now that I've launched this, everybody's like, oh, I had an idea for one and I had an idea for that. I'm like, stop sitting on it. Make it.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely had those ideas too, but that's why I think that you're just so awesome, because you always, and you've always been creating projects for products for virtual assistants, like your black shirt, white letters. And I know every VA I told that about was like, I need one of those immediately, because where else can we find stuff like that? And it's so fun to
literally you know, I would love for it to get to the point where that's what I'm known for. It's like Romaine creates products and resources for virtual assistants, and that's what she does. Because I think that this industry is growing in a way that, first of all, we're noticing the shift. There's a huge shift in the way that because of the awareness, because so many people are now like, you're not trying to explain what a virtual assistant as much is. Now people are like, okay, what's your niche? And you're just like, excuse me.
Yes.
You say that again? You don't need me to sit here and explain for 20 minutes what I do. You get it. So now that they get it, it's also up, you know, the industry is elevating. And so with the industry being elevated, we need tools, we need resources, we need things for new people who are coming in, so that they don't feel like they're just consistently going down the Google rabbit hole.
I totally agree. So I want these in the hands of all of my listeners. Where can they get all of your awesome journals and trackers and all of this stuff?
Amazing. So two things. First and foremost, they can go on Amazon and literally just either type in my name, Romaine Brown-Palmer, and all my products will go up. I'll also give you a link. What's great about these is they are print to order. So the minute you order them, and if you have Prime, you will have it in 2 days. You will
Yay!
have the physical product in 2 days. So it's available on Amazon. If you search my author name, Romaine Brown-Palmer, it'll come up and all my products will come up underneath. I'm trying to figure out how to do a bundle because of the
Oh yeah,
publishing, like to see if we can like bundle these together
bundle
so you
them.
guys
That
can
would be
get all
awesome.
3. But if not, just know that the discovery call, you'll need 1 in your life. The meeting notes, you'll maybe need 1 a year. And the virtual assistant journal, you're going to need 1 every quarter.
Oh, we
Yeah.
get a lot done. We have
And then, sorry, one thing I wanted to mention about the virtual assistant journal, people are like, oh, you have 6 spaces. I don't have 6 clients. Yes, you do. Yourself, your business
Yourself. Yep,
is
yep,
a
yep.
client. And that's one of the things that helps with productivity is a lot of times we put ourselves as business owners on the back burner.
Yep.
And so I started doing this thing where I'm just like, I'm the first client. I am my favorite client. I made a t-shirt out of it that said, I am my favorite client.
I love
It was
that.
inspired by one of the ladies in my group. She's like, I'm my favorite client. I was like, that is my favorite quote. It's going on a t-shirt tonight.
Well, I love that because if you love your business, it'll love you back. And a lot of people are not giving that love to their business. And then
Right,
they're
because
like,
it's just like
where's the
we have a
client?
checklist of items of things
Yeah.
that we need to do in our business to, stop
Mhm.
sleeping on that bookkeeping,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
build your template vault, which if y'all don't have a template vault, I'm looking at you. You don't have a template vault and you don't have a capabilities deck, we are going to fight. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I love that. You guys, I'll have the links to all of these products and to Romaine's author page in the show notes. And then I'm sure most of my listeners are already following you because I talk about you to everyone I know, but
Listen, so do I. I was talking about you in Clubhouse the other day, and people are
oh,
like, "Oh, who are people you admire?" And I was like, first and foremost,
you're always
so we were, and then it
always at
turned
the top of
into
my
a
list.
Sharon Love Fest a little bit.
Oh, with Shanzi, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Shanzi's gonna be coming on the podcast
Oh, she's so dope.
in the fall, so I'm so excited. Yeah.
Yay.
Well, and also, I was gonna say, where else? I was gonna say for people that don't know you or don't follow you, which I don't know who these people are, but where
Doing
do we?
under this rock.
I know, where do we find you and follow you and stay in touch?
All right, so you can stalk me on Instagram at Romaine B. Palmer. There is a page for the planners. That's growing. It just started. EAG Planners. So it has all the promo and quotes and everything for the planners. And then on TikTok, it's Virtual Biz Bestie. And yeah, that's pretty much where I hang out.
Guys,
Those 2 things. And if you also can check out my website at RomaineBrownPalmer.com. /links will give you if you go to RomaineBrownPalmer.com /links, it'll take you to all the important links that you need associated with me, join my free Slack community, all that good stuff. Everything I have going on is on that page.
awesome. Well, everyone make sure to get in touch with Romaine. And Romaine, it's just always a gift every time I get to spend time with you. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It really is. Like I tell people, I was like, that's my soul sister. I don't know where she found me, but I'm so glad you found me.
You found me, I think, or we found each other.
We found each other at the same time. We were just like, hey, it was like a love fest in the DMs.
Well,
like,
I just remember,
I love what you got going on. Hey, I love what you got going on.
I know you like sent me a DM and I like looked at your stuff and I was like, wait a second, I need you in my life. Like,
yes.
So,
I feel that this is a very real reaction. Everybody needs a little. If you don't have a Romaine in your life, like
true.
So sad.
So sad. I can't even imagine.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Romaine. We'll be in touch always. So
yeah, I'm just like, you can't get rid of me for life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.